myself, when in the world has that ever worked? Would you ever tell a pregnant woman when she's trying to push a baby out of her, calm down? No, terrible, terrible, horrible idea. Just tell her to breathe. That's what everyone should tell someone when they're panicking. Just breathe. That you can listen to.
Yeah, but if you do that with a pregnant woman, it's really painful
for everyone.
It's just like,
for
once she's
everyone.
in labor, it's in pain to begin
It's
with.
a terrible idea.
And then you trying to tell her to calm down, that pain's going to transfer on to the next person.
It's true.
Yeah.
Alrighty, I'm gonna do a 1, 2, 3 sync, and I'm glad we caught that like a little pregnancy talk right before the show started. That's gonna be like a special features section of this episode. Anyone podcast episode 3 here with Ariel and Yoni Sobin.
There you go.
There it is. We were saying before the show, so Yoni works in therapy. He's a therapist, and it's like the nerd therapist. That's like your
That's correct.
market there. And we were saying, like, if you changed it to Yoni Sobin. Yoni Sobin? Come to Yoni Sobin.
The other great alternative that I came up with, like Yoni Sober, but it's really Sobin sober with an in instead of an er.
That's pretty good too. And you're drinking straight up regular Coca-Cola.
Just regular Coke.
And
yeah.
Today's Ariel's birthday. Happy birthday,
Yes.
Ariel.
Happy
That's
birthday.
insane. Do you mind me asking how old you are today?
35.
35.
Yes.
Nice.
Wow,
Nice. Right halfway through there. Right up until 40.
Oh, yeah, 5 more years and then I'll really start my midlife crisis.
Yeah.
And I'm right here.
Yeah, I know. It's weird because I turned 22 in April, and
When in April?
April 30th. When's your birthday?
13th.
13th, same month. How old are you? Anyway, we're talking about ages.
31.
Yeah, 31.
31.
Wow, so I'm the baby. I'm often the baby.
I'm
in
the
room,
oldest
though.
person here. Damn.
You are. But it doesn't, like, you can't be the oldest person in a comic book shop. Like, everybody's just a kid. Like, you know what I mean?
Pretty much. I'm the oldest kid, though.
You're the old, yeah.
Young at heart, though. That's
I like how you brought that in there. Like, I can still beat you guys up, though. Like,
The bully on the schoolyard.
that's hilarious. So what are you guys up to today? So the last few episodes we've had creators on. 2 episodes ago we had Dennis Knight of Cross. Last episode we had director and producer of the film called The Ranger, and Jen Wexler and Heather Buckley. I might as well name drop them. But this week is sort of a drunk cast / just shoot the shit. We're pre-recording this, so this is actually recorded about right before Comic-Con. We're going into Comic-Con this weekend. It'll be released after Comic-Con. So I was thinking we do some Comic-Con talk. Like, are you going, Ariel? We haven't.
I have never been
What?
to New York
Comic-Con?
Comic-Con.
Not even once.
To be fair, I've been once. I've been one time only, so I'm not gonna like
Not
sit here
even
and judge.
I
once.
just never had the luck. Like, growing up, I was just starting my nerddom, so I didn't know about conventions and stuff. And then went to
And your parents must not have been super into the scene at all.
Oh, no.
Because I understand now that that's how a lot of kids get into it is through like their dad's like, this is cool, we're
Right.
going to this, and they're like, oh yeah,
Like,
this
read
is
this
cool,
book.
I'm going
Read this
to
book.
Yeah.
None of my siblings, nobody. I'm the only nerd.
Really? So how'd you get into comics then? Because it's often, I would say 90% of the time, it's like an older cousin's like, read this, this is cool, and you're like, I'll
Yeah.
read this and this is cool. Yes, like.
Yeah, it was 2 of my cousins. One of my cousins, he was an artist. He would just like go through books. He loved Spawn. That was his go-to.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
And that was when Spawn first started coming out.
Yeah. And that
then-
fantastic film came out.
Oh yeah,
I never
Beautiful.
saw that one.
Great. You never saw Spawn?
No, I never saw the Spawn film.
It's really bad, but it's also it's enjoyably bad. I will say.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I get a lot of
Like
enjoyment.
Sharknado bad?
No,
Like
it's
that,
not
that kind of
Oh my
enjoyable
gosh.
bad?
It's more like Punisher bad. I would say.
Which
okay.
Punisher?
I'm assuming
Or-
not the good one.
Oh, there's 3.
Yeah.
Three Punisher.
Yeah, the first one, the original with Dolph Lundgren.
Like
That's
in the,
not the
like
one
in
I'm
the
thinking.
70s.
No, not the one with Dolph.
Oh, that was like in the 1980s, I think it was.
Something like that.
The
Before
one,
I was born.
The one without Dolph. Or maybe it's the first one without Dolph. I think it's in the 90s. 90s.
Yeah.
Punisher.
I don't
Oh, well,
remember-
with
I don't
John
remember who started
Travolta.
it. That was Travolta?
Well,
Okay.
he wasn't Punisher.
That's what I
but
thought. Yeah,
he
I was
played
like,
the villain. He played
Maybe
the
that's the
villain.
one I'm thinking of. I don't know. I'm trying to compare it to find another movie to compare it to because obviously Punisher was not a good comparison. Maybe like
And then Warzone.
Warzone. Warzone is awful too.
Awful, but it's funny awful.
funny awfuls. Yeah, so maybe Spawn fits that, or like maybe even like Street Fighter, which I get a lot of
Okay.
enjoyment out of Street Fighter.
That's
but that's a terrible
fun.
film.
Street Fighter.
But it's fun.
Oh my god.
But it's fun.
It is. No, and that certainly has merit. Like films that are just fun. Like, and I don't know. It's actually funny. So I heard this on another podcast. Funny enough, but I studied film in college. I'm consider myself a cinephile. I absolutely love movies and stuff. But I was listening to. He was like an up and coming actor, and I can't remember his name, so the story sucks already. But he was basically like an up and coming action star, and he was on the set of Expendables 2, and he just made this really interesting comment that was, you know, like people get into this industry like to try to make art and to try to make like win awards or whatever, but like I was on set with like Stallone and Schwarzenegger, like. You know how fun that is? Like, that movie, it was just fun to work on that movie. And it's like, that's when I learned that I'm in this industry to, like, have a lot of fun. And I was like, that's so profound. I thought that was such a cool idea. Because, like...
to be at your job because you enjoy it.
Exactly.
And just because you're having fun.
Right.
Like,
and
not
I was someone who
a lot.
formerly would have been like, Expendables 2, pshaw. Like, get out of here with that dirt. Like, no. But
I love Expendables too.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I wouldn't say I love any of the Expendables. But my dad is really into action movies, and he got me into Schwarzenegger when I was a kid.
That's why I love
so
it.
him and I will watch them together and like bond over that. But I was a huge Predator guy. My dad really loved Predator, so he got me into Predator early on. That one's great. Last Action Hero is great. I like Commando a lot.
Commando.
Commando's
Oh my
good.
god.
Commando's good, but
I
Commando's
love
also
it
kind of
so
bad too. It's like
Me and my friends make jokes on that movie all the time.
the thing that I think about the most out of Commando is, do you remember they're putting him on a plane and he kills the guy who's supposed to be watching him, and he puts his hat over his head like he's asleep, and he jumps off the plane. And like they never show when he lands that this guy never wakes up, and it's like really dark and weird, like how he like killed a guy, made it look like he was sleeping on a plane, and then bailed, so this guy would be on a 6-hour flight and no one would wake him up. Like,
It's like, what's that smell? That's
Yeah.
decomposing
That's a
body.
dead man. Yeah.
That's a decomposing body. You're fucked.
And it's like films never like portray this, and not to get too gross, but like some weird bowel stuff happens when you die, right? Like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
It definitely can.
yeah. So it's
Not every time, but
It's not a good smell. Trust me.
I'm sure it's not, and really disturbing to think about. But the point being that like Arnold, like he was like a savage in that movie. He just kills in that movie.
Yeah.
it was
No
great.
holds barred. Yeah, it's awesome. Gotta love Arnold. What are you guys' favorite action films? Would you say? It's like
like I said,
I mean,
love
my
The
first one that I
Expendables.
ever saw was The Matrix. I remember because it was like the first R-rated movie that I ever saw that was like real, like just action all the time, everywhere, and I had to hide it from my parents because
Right.
I wasn't the right age, and this and that. And I just remember like we got a VHS of it, and my parents weren't home one night, and so
VHS.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
and so we popped it in, and we were watching it, and it's just like the sitting there, like the adrenaline,
The
knowing your
Matrix
parents
is a
could come home at any
fantastic
point.
piece of cinema. That's an
It
amazing
really,
movie.
really, really is.
It's
Visually,
like,
yes. It's
really
a gorgeous
is.
movie.
it's good. And the first one, I think the narrative is strong too. I think it obviously relies on a continued narrative that grows weaker and weaker, but I would
Yes.
say the visuals stay pretty strong throughout.
Yeah, because it has like a solid opening point, a solid middle, and a solid ending. Like it is sort of all wrapped up by the end of the first movie, even though there is more story that comes
Right,
afterwards.
and you're still wondering what's happening. Kind
Yeah,
of, in
yeah.
which I made this comment with Dennis Knight, who writes Cross, and I don't know if you guys have read Cross, but I told him a big thing I liked about his comic was I read the first issue and I was like, I have no idea what's going on, and that's like such a double-edged sword when it comes to art, because it's like I have no idea what's going on. I'm leaving this, or it's like I have no idea what's going on. Like I need more. Like,
Right,
give me
You
more
have
of
to
this.
find something to make it like what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's just like a very fine, good middle ground between that. So like anyone who wants to stop some way partway through can,
Right.
and yet everyone who's like invested in that universe, invested in that world, just gets to continue to experience it.
Exactly.
I say that with like John Wick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The first movie, they just
I-
drop little hints like, oh, this is the hotel. Oh, these are the gold coins. Like, what is all of this?
right.
So it just reeled people in, and then I love part two.
Yeah, I personally didn't continue with it. I was like, I liked it. It was a great movie. It was fun. There was a solid story. It was just enjoyable.
Yeah.
But I just decided like I didn't pick it up myself for the second part. Don't know
I
why.
need to. I want to watch the second part because I think it's streaming and I haven't seen it yet, and I
Okay.
love the first one also. Something that drives me crazy about the first one. Did you know they spent like I want to say like I'm gonna throw out like an astronomical figure. I think it's like $50,000, but it's in this realm. On CGI for the dog shit at the beginning, they CGI'd the dog shit.
Really?
They couldn't
did
find
not
dog
know-
shit. They had a
There's
dog
no way
on
that
set.
that's true.
Just go to a park, like, excuse me, man, don't worry, I got
There's
this.
no way that that's true.
No, apparently this is true, and it drives me crazy because the dog was on set. They had a dog in that movie.
$50K?
Yeah, something like that. It's CGI.
Damn.
CGI, totally,
Like,
and it looks
God,
real.
what have
I
we
mean, I
come
will
to?
say it's good CGI. It
What
looks-
have we come to?
Yeah,
God, we're lazy.
yeah. It's like a wild expenditure that like always made me see that movie in a weird light, where it's like
50 grand just to making fake poop.
like
Yeah.
I
Learn new things every day.
if this was like a more like a interactive podcast, I would like set a timer and see which one of us could get dog shit back here the fastest. But I guarantee you, it would
Challenge
be like-
accepted.
I guarantee it'd be like 5 minutes max. Like we like
Oh, for
It's not gonna
sure.
take long.
For sure.
like there's so many people in New York. who
Go
don't pick
near
up
any
dogs.
park.
Yeah.
Any park. You'll
Anywhere.
find it like
Or any
that.
tree in New York. I feel like so many people don't pick up.
Just
dogs
wait for a dog
also.
to walk right
And the
by
movie
you.
took place. No. I think the second one took place in New York. Did the first
Did
one
it?
take place in New York?
I think it did.
He
Maybe?
travels to New York. Certainly.
There is a
the
scene-
the hotel is in New York.
Right.
When that female assassin breaks the rules of the hotel, they catch her
Come to think of it, I don't remember.
Central Park,
Oh.
and that's where they get her. They kill her for breaking
Nice.
the rules.
Oh,
And they were there, so there's dog poop
guess so.
around.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just look. Use your eyes.
It's like that blew my mind though, and it made me think a lot about how many times this has been done before. Because I'm sure, even though this was shocking to me, I'm sure like people have cheaped out with like really stupid CGI. Like Jar Jar Binks, he could have been practical, right? Could have been practical.
Yeah. And then there's the times that you spend so much money on CGI, like in the Hobbit trilogy, and it comes out like terrible.
I didn't even
Just
finish it.
ruins-
I didn't, and I'm huge. I buy into Tolkien. Love Lord of the Rings.
Excellent.
I even liked I think I liked the first Hobbit movie. I didn't like the second one. I think
The
the
first one
Yeah.
I saw, and I did not think I was gonna like it, and I loved it.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed
They
it.
was
they
fun.
nailed
What-
a scene from The Hobbit that I love so much, and I
Ooh, which one?
when
I'm a
the-
huge
the
Lord of the
riddles.
Rings buff. Oh
The
yes.
riddles.
Oh my God, it was.
They
brilliant.
nailed that scene.
It was
where
absolutely
him
brilliant.
and Gollum are trying to do the riddles about over the ring.
Yeah.
And like it was, I remember my mom read me the story the first time when I was a kid.
Same.
And I remember like visualizing it, and when I saw the movie, I was like, "That's exactly how I
Yes,
saw it." Like,
exactly.
They nailed it. Like,
Yeah, when I was young, like my mom handed me that book once, and I remember I started reading it, and like I got to like page 10, and all the dwarves come in, Ori, Dori, Nori, Biffer, Bofer. I'm just like, I'm done with this, and I put it down for probably about, I don't know, maybe 10 years before I picked it up again, and my mom was like, "How could you do? Oh my God, you're gonna love this. I'm telling you." So shout out to you, Mom. You were right. Yeah, that's on video now.
Wow. Yeah.
She just handed it to me. and
She's
then-
gonna
and I was
pull
like,
this up every time you guys get in some.
I
sort of
told
dispute. Mom, you're right.
Oh God.
That's hilarious.
But I've seen the Lord of the Rings films myself. I think like 20 plus
Oh,
times each.
yeah. It
got me through high school.
Yeah.
Like
I was gonna say it hit me like pre-adolescence. I think it was like 11 or 12. It's like when the phase. It was right before Return of the King, because when I started watching them, Return of the King hadn't come out, and so I watched both of them. And then that was like one of my favorite movie memories. Like Star Wars is up there, but I think like the anticipation for Return of the King.
Yeah.
And it had done pretty well
Yes.
in the Oscars too. It
I
had,
think
like,
it
some
was
acclaim
13.
behind
If
it.
I'm not 12 or 13 Oscars, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy the Lord of the Rings, but the last one kind of annoyed me.
Return
at
of
the
the
How
end
come? How come?
Because of the 5 different endings it had.
Okay.
Because it was like it ended, and then
Then-
everybody it blacked out. It went to black. Everybody went next scene. Oh, okay, it's not.
Oh,
done.
no, we're
Sat
not done.
down.
You're getting closer and closer to the hobbits jumping
Yeah.
together on the bed.
Exactly.
Which-
but you're not there yet.
And
Yeah.
then it kept on fading to black, and it would stay black, and it would come back to the next scene. Everybody's getting up, sitting down,
Yeah.
getting up, sitting down. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the-
Yeah, just end the movie. Like
Yeah,
pick
exactly.
one, pick one. And then that's true. And then Aragorn goes back to where's he become king of?
Gondor.
Gondor. He goes back to Gondor, and there's like that whole thing where him and Liv Tyler like have that moment, and
Yeah.
like that's another ending. You're totally right. Yeah, but the Hobbits jumping on the bed seat's weird, dude.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
and
but
it's
there's-
like as someone who's totally accepting of anything like that. It's still a strange scene. Like it's very, very odd that they're
Like-
dressed that way.
It's like
The
super
underlying
friendly and cute,
innuendos.
and they're all like, "Oh, we're all back together again. Yeah, great, and everyone's
snuggle.
alive.
Yeah.
Woo, you're not dead." Like that's I feel like that's the big
Yeah,
message. It's
I
like, we love
think
each
that's what
other.
they're going
It's like,
for.
We love each
certainly.
other.
Yeah, I think I bought that when I was a kid, but maybe as I got older and my cynical, stupid mind was just like, this is weird. Like,
Nah.
bunch of short people jumping together in a bed. Like,
No, I straight up thought I was like, this is really gay.
Yeah, it is a little gay, and that's okay. But it doesn't. It seems out of place though.
I never read it that way. They always because they all seem like fun. Like that's all hobbits are about. Is like fun and love and like also, happiness, and like they don't care about war. They don't care about any of that stuff. So like once it's all over, they can go right back to being exactly.
And they haven't seen each other in a very long time either, and they started this adventure together. Yeah. And now this is the point where they all
come back together, and like they're all just like they were at the beginning of the first movie, where they're all happy-go-lucky, not a care in the world, having Bilbo's party, and then everything starts to go downhill and like get really dark and everything. So it's like it's a nice solid wraparound ending. That's not the right phrase that I was looking for in this context at all. But yeah, no, it's a really, really good ending in my opinion to the
and then I still tear up when Frodo has to go with Gandalf.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like
there's a great cut of The Hobbit though that fans have done. A couple of them actually that trim out all of the excess stuff, like all the love triangles between Evangeline Lilly's character and the two dwarves, and like it cuts out all of that stuff. It cuts out so much stuff that like wasn't in the books, and it gets all 3 movies down total to I think there's one cut that's like 2.5 hours long, and then there's another cut that's about 4 hours long, and they're both pretty solid and like keep all the good parts, like the Gollum scene and Smaug.
It just turns into a straight action movie.
It's kind of it's basically a straight movie version of The Hobbit, as opposed to The Hobbit as interpreted by Peter Jackson and his team. Not that it was a bad interpretation, but he added his flair to it.
Yeah,
and this is like more true to the books. It's called
that weren't in the book.
Yeah, they did that for Lord of the Rings also. There's a set of edits out there, Sharkey's Purist edits, if you're looking for them online somewhere, and it cuts out everything that wasn't in the books.
There's a super famous Star Wars one that, and I can't remember his name, the guy who played Eric Foreman in that 70s show cut together the prequels of Star Wars into one feature that I think is like an hour and a half long, so it's much shorter than the 3 of those films combined. But apparently it's fantastic, and he actually premiered it in LA just for his friends. Obviously he doesn't have any sort of rights, maybe he can't openly premiere that. And there's a few people who have rumored to have like the torrent out there of it, so you can find it online somewhere if you're interested.
Yeah,
Eric
they
exist.
Wars?
No, he wasn't Star Wars. He's just a fan.
Right.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, hold up. I got lost.
No, that was.
I was like,
what did I
Eric
miss?
Foreman was in Star Wars.
That would be amazing, though. Maybe he should be in like one of the newer ones. That'd be sick.
That would be great.
Oh, man.
Easter egg.
Just bring in Red.
Yeah.
Just call him a dumbass and just walks out.
Oh my god, I would love to see Red call Kylo Ren.
Eric, what are you guys doing down there in that Sarlacc pit? Nothing, Dad.
Dumbass.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
It's funny to see where those actors have gone. I've watched a little bit of The Ranch on Netflix, which
I actually liked it.
Danny, I enjoy parts of it.
I saw a couple
Danny
clips of that.
Masterson fell off is a creep now, I guess, that we're not allowed to talk about.
Well, it's accusations always got innocent.
It's true, but it makes sense that they dropped him, and it's actually not necessarily to do with him, but basically Netflix said, after these allegations came out, said, oh, like we're hearing these from members of the Church of Scientology, we don't really know whether to believe them or not, we don't have any intention of firing Mr. Masterson. The next day, the headline was like, Netflix sides with Scientology. Like, they believe Masterson, victims.
Hold up. He's a Scientologist?
So apparently the thing is that he's a Scientologist, and the church was suppressing these claims for years because the women involved, or some of the women involved, were also Scientologists, and the Church of Scientology basically said, don't
Also,
talk
they
about
pulled
this.
Catholic Church.
This is all I don't want the Church of Scientology coming after my podcast. This is all speculation purely here, and we'll let that be said.
Yes.
I mean, I have no idea what happened in passing no judgment, but he is no longer affiliated with the show, and frankly, he was my favorite character in that 70s show. I love
He's
Rooster
great.
was my favorite character.
Yeah, and Rooster was great on The Ranch too, and that show feels very that 70s show. I like how they bring characters back. I like how Fez is in it for a while, and Kitty's in it, Red's in it. It's cool that they're trying to revamp that a little bit.
I think Wilmer Valderrama was in another show, Awake. I think he was in Awake on Fox with Jason Isaacs. I believe.
Okay.
It was like a detective who wakes up in 2 different realities. Oh, you remember what I'm talking about?
Like
they had those ads, and it was like split down the middle.
He gets into a car accident.
Yeah.
And then he wakes up his wife is dead.
So that he's got a wife and a
buries
kid.
his wife, and then when he goes to sleep,
he wakes up the next time,
son
and he's in
is
a
dead.
reality when the kid is dead, and he goes back and forth between these two realities, like not sure which one is the quote-unquote real reality.
So every time
and
he
his
goes to
partner in the show is Wilmer Valderrama.
I believe so.
I think.
I gotta go back. I love that show.
I'm 95% certain.
I have to watch that show.
It was
really
it
good.
was really
Unfortunately,
fun.
it lasted one season. It got
Unfortunately, I really liked
like
it.
it reeled me in. I was like, okay, what's going on?
I'm
and then
pretty sure
little
that
hints
was
that
the
people
show.
know of what's
Fox
going
had
on.
it?
I
No,
believe.
go
No, it
figure.
was,
Fox cancels
was it-
everything
I think it was
sometimes.
ABC.
What's that?
I think it was ABC that had it.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I don't remember. It could be ABC. I don't know. It was some network channel had
Yeah,
a
because
wig on
I
it.
usually know if it's Fox because Fox always pisses
Yeah.
me off because they cancel all their shows.
Touch. I really like Touch also with Kiefer Sutherland. That was a great one.
I think
With the
Brooklyn
with the
Nine-Nine was like the
autistic
recent
kid.
big thing that everybody freaked out about was Fox canceled Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
Someone picks it up instantly because people
Yeah,
love
because
that
it's
show.
brilliant.
I heard they're going. I heard that. I was like, no. Someone needs to
happening.
pick it up. Someone.
I
needs to pick up the show.
Everybody was freaking out on the internet, but I knew instantly. I was like, someone's gonna pick it up though. Like, someone has to pick that show up. It's like,
It's a solid show.
It's a
like,
solid
the
show.
banter
It
is
did
amazing.
well,
The
like,
characters are relatable.
yeah, and like you like to see where these SNL guys go post SNL, and I
Yeah.
think it's like kind of Sandberg's thing. That's what he's doing now. Is
Andre Braugher is just great.
Yeah,
he's
hilarious.
absolutely phenomenal.
No,
As
it's
Captain Raymond Holt.
I'm also happy that Netflix picked up Lucifer.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
Is
they
that
picked
true?
it up. They got Fox canceled them, and at the last second, because I follow
We're moving
all
over
the
to
actors
digital.
on that show. I just
Great.
love it. And it was like the last day before, like I guess the expiration date for someone to pick them up, and Netflix picked them up.
Wow.
wow. Wait,
I never got into that one. Never checked it out.
I didn't either. Did you know Fox has multiple times tried to cancel The Simpsons?
Yeah,
She's like,
I have heard that.
Really, that's like your flagship, pretty much.
Yeah,
It really is. Like, it's been on there as
longest
long
running
as you've been
television
around.
show in ever. I think it's the longest running television
They're
show
in their
ever
30th
now.
season now.
That's insane.
I'm
wild.
95% sure 30th season.
Alrighty, the birthday boy poured himself.
There we
a
go.
Cocktail here. I have recently started like rewatching The Simpsons from the beginning, which is
That's
something that like
dedication.
it's on in the background. I fall asleep to it,
Right.
and then it's impossible to do. I'm not gonna be able to sit down
Yeah,
and
it's
actually
a
watch
lot.
30 seasons of The Simpsons.
That's a lot.
But it's so satisfying to see the evolution of the show. And when you start it, so the pilot for The Simpsons is actually a Christmas special that aired. And when you watch the pilot of The Simpsons, you instantly get why this show is still running, because it's like Homer Simpson's a guy who loses his job and doesn't have any gifts to give his kids for Christmas this year. And it's like,
right.
it's like,
I
and he's just
remember
like a
this
struggling
now.
dad, like trying to make it.
Yeah.
And that's who he brings home the dog at the end, and that's how.
Yeah, and that's like what made the whole show so relatable in the first place. It was
Right.
just like this bumbling buffoon of a dad
But who loves his family.
who loves his family and
it's
nothing
like,
but that.
And it's like, I get why, like, it's like people who are into animation follow it, and people who are actually into, like, sitcom writing and sort of that idea, like, artists are into it. But I also totally understand why Blue Collar America is interested in it, because it's so relatable.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's
true. It's like there's just this guy trying to help his family. Like, who can't relate to that?
It's the same reason why I like Bob's Burgers.
Yeah,
honestly,
Bob's
which is
Burgers
a
is similar.
phenomenal show. It just,
never watched an episode
it's
of Bob's
it's
Burgers.
great.
Have you
It's a
I
family
haven't.
show.
I
Jeez
haven't.
Louise.
I've seen like glimpses
You
of
gotta
it.
go.
Like,
You're
on
going to
channels.
Comic Con on
Yeah.
Thursday, and you're going to the Bob's Burgers panel, and you're gonna sit there. It's
great.
Watch this show.
Yeah.
It's
Happy
absolutely
birthday.
phenomenal. But just a dad flipping burgers for a living for his
Yeah.
family, and they all own a little restaurant together. How much
I
cuter
like
could
the
you get?
I like the northeastern like Seatown twang that it
Yeah.
has. Is very charming to me.
Yeah.
Actually, I did see part of an episode that I remember. It's like the kids,
Mhm.
they're trying to get rid of somebody, and they go into like a
Who and
cardboard
which
fort,
time?
I think it
Yeah,
was like
I
a
was gonna
cardboard fort.
Oh, the cardboard fort. That's when they get blocked into the cardboard fort.
Yeah.
okay.
And they
Yes,
try to get
yes,
trying to find
okay.
a way out.
Yes.
Something like
I
that.
d- that might be a Halloween special actually.
I think it was.
Yeah, yes, it was. It was.
Yeah,
It
Yeah,
was.
because they
It was.
can't get out to go trick or treating.
Yes.
Yeah,
I remember that. Oh god, that show.
I
is
remember
so
I was just
great.
flipping through the channel. I was like, fuck it, let me see what's going on.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it.
It's a very
Never
fun
went back.
one.
Yeah.
It's a fun one.
It's not like any sort of like arc that goes on throughout the show. Really, I'm trying to think of one, but I don't think there is.
I mean, it's like Tina's Boy Crazy, but that's more of a recurring.
Yeah,
joke
yeah.
than
There's
an
more
arc.
recurring jokes, I would say.
Yeah.
But it's. I think at the same time it is worth it to watch it from the beginning, because like as in many of those style of shows, the characters fall deeper into their character traits. Like they start off like a seemingly normal family with these little quirks, and these quirks
Right.
suddenly become character defining
Right.
pieces of them, and that is satisfying to see. Whereas if you go from 0 to 100 and you're watching the newest season, it's like
You
why
miss
is he
it. It's
acting
just
like
like-
that? You kind of don't see that.
It's just
depth
like,
of that
oh,
thing.
these guys are just weird, but then
Right.
like it's really like built up. Like it started off with the relationships between like the family members, and now they're just like all these like individual characters who they're just in and of themselves are just great. That's like part of the reason why I love, honestly, like shameless plug for the nerd therapist here.
Yeah.
Like why I enjoy like using comics with patients and when I'm running groups.
Yeah,
and
let's
stuff.
talk about that.
It's so
what's
relatable.
what got you?
How did
I
it
don't want to
start?
say I don't want to say what's the logic behind it because that sounds
How did it
condescending,
start?
but I really don't mean it that way.
How did it start?
How did it
basically?
start, yeah.
So it actually started at Comic-Con about four or 5 years ago. I don't remember if it was the same year that my brother proposed to his now wife, who are expecting a little beautiful baby girl.
Hey.
We just learned this yesterday.
We're celebrating
actually.
a lot of stuff today.
Yeah. So
What's your brother's name?
Ariel, actually,
Is that did that? That's
his name's
wild.
How do you
Ariel.
spell it?
Ariel.
Ariel. Congratulations. That's how you say it. in
That's
Spanish.
exactly that's how you pronounce it in Hebrew, also.
Ariel.
Ariel.
That's wild.
Yeah, with the rolling R too.
This is like a very small world thing.
Yeah.
You guys almost and so you and other Ariel's kid almost have the same birthday.
Well,
When is
they're
baby
they're
due?
they're due in,
Oh, I know,
in
you
January.
didn't
They're
have
due
the
in
baby
January,
yesterday.
late January,
expecting
early
it.
February.
Late January.
Late
I thought-
January, early February.
I got ahead of myself. Thought the baby was born yesterday. I was like, this
No,
is
no,
wild.
we just found out that it's a.
and it
little
looks
ba-
just
little
like
baby
this
girl.
Ariel. Like,
Right?
what's happening?
Like, I'm coming to
Something
his
happened,
birthday,
this
I'm
is
giving
not
him
good.
His first drink.
But yeah, so it was about 4 or 5 years ago at Comic-Con, and I was there, and I saw this graphic novel by this guy Brian Fisher called Torchlight Lullaby, and he was telling me about it. It's about this little girl named Ella who takes her little stuffed mouse, and like a portal opens up into her dreams, and the things from her nightmares start to come into the real world a little bit, and she has to navigate through this portal and in her dream world to close the rift. And it's all a metaphor for like dealing with your demons and dealing with things that are hidden beneath the surface, the things that are hiding in Ella's nightmares. And she's this like 5-year-old little girl, so you don't really know what she's dealing with. I'm not going to spoil the graphic novel, but it's highly recommended. And at the end, you find out what it was that she was dealing with through the story. And I was like, oh, this is a really interesting way to deal with like trauma and just stuff. And so I talked to him a little bit about it. He told me a little bit about how he came up with the idea. And I bought a copy on the spot, and I was like, let me get the PDF. I'd love to be able to use this with patients. And it kind of mulled in the back from there. I finished grad school, and then after I got my license, I'm like, I wanted to get this started. I wanted to get this off the ground. I did a little research, and some other people have done similar ideas as well.
Okay.
And just to
So is
kind
that
of take
so?
that.
Is it sort of the logic of analyzing a patient or just speaking with a patient and then pairing them with a book that they can relate to, and
Exactly.
through discussing the book, you're actually discussing.
Exactly, discussing their lives, what's going on underneath the surface. Like I've spent hours with patients with this. I have one patient in mind right now who I'm thinking about, where we've talked about like Star Wars and dealing with anger and just like the transition in the path of how does one become this good-natured child and end up engaging in actions or things that they're not particularly happy with but have been forced to do by circumstance, all because of an emotion like anger. And we've talked about like foresight and thought and how that relates to the idea of the force and
Right.
things like that. And he's living a really great life right now,
Yeah.
and a lot very happy. And
That's
so
very, very
thinking
cool.
about all that.
It's like such a. I feel like it's such a unconventional way to pair those two things that people are both like fandom and then personal issues, even though they do kind of run parallel when you think about it. And I think you capitalizing on that is super interesting at the very least.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I really enjoy it. It's like it's very rewarding because I get to bring something that I'm interested in into my work and like really enjoy what it is that I'm doing. And there's so many different things. There's comics that deal with alcoholism. Calvin and Hobbes is like ADHD and parenting skills and
Right.
how to interact with your parents and your kids. And there's so many that deal with depression and identity and anything with the X-Men can be a metaphor for anything in the LGBT community and
Right.
inclusion, exclusion.
Sure.
Just so many themes everywhere because that's what a comic is at its core. It's a story of of an emotion. It's a story, a good comic, one that you
Right.
can relate to, is a story of an emotion and a character, and not just a stereotype and the colors and ink, but it's a person underneath. Batman is driven by, the loss of his parents and mourning that throughout his life and dedicating himself to doing something about it.
Yeah.
So it's like motivators and drives and fears and secrets and identity.
Yeah.
That's really what it's all about.
Right,
Identity.
and even like out of the base, like the idea of a superhero wearing a mask is like an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Like it has been explored academically, but
Plenty.
But in this sense, it's like sort of a very interesting thing of just like when you wake up in the morning, do you put on a costume and a cape and a mask, or do you walk outside as Clark Kent? It's
Right.
like how do you exit into your life? And I
Right.
think
Well, that's the thing. Well, that's the interesting. Like in Kill Bill, you said you walk outside as Clark Kent. Is that the mask or is that the person? Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
I remember that scene.
That's a really good monologue. Yeah.
That's the mask.
It's the mask. Yeah.
That's the mask. So he
Yeah.
does walk out every day in that mask, and he can't even be
Yeah.
himself in the world that he now lives in.
Right.
That's a great scene also. Kill
it's
Bill.
a pretty fantastic scene. I am not a huge fan of the second one, which that scene takes place in, but I do love that monologue. No, Tarantino nailed it. I'm really excited for this new Tarantino project, by the way. Have you guys heard about this?
I've heard mullings of it. That's
Once
not the
Upon
right
a
word.
Time in
but-
Hollywood. It's with Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, which is the first time they've ever worked together.
Oh.
And he's compared it to like Robert Redford and Paul Newman, like Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid
Oh,
style
wow.
of
I'm excited for
caliber
that
of
now.
performance. I am too, and it's actually really sad because Burt Reynolds just passed away, and he was supposed to play the blind landlord who rented the space out to Charles Manson, where he eventually committed his murders, the Manson family murders, and so
that's right. I heard he was doing a movie on that.
It's basically a mix. From what I can gather, it's like a narrative of two struggling actors in the backdrop of the Charles Manson murders in Hollywood during that era, and so I'm very excited about it, and I think he's gonna. It sounds like a kind of a weird project. I like that Sony's backing it.
does weird.
Well,
He
yeah,
does it
and
well.
when he sells it, it's especially like you hear these
Yeah.
like weird mullings of things
Yeah.
like Inglorious Bastards, and Nazi hunting and this, and you're like, how like Tarantino? All right, Tarantino and Nazi hunting, cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
you,
yeah.
you kind of learn to just like buy it.
I'm not gonna lie. I've never seen Inglorious Bastards.
It was a
Really?
solid one.
It's
It was a solid one.
I've always seen like clips here and there.
That was
and
another
stuff
one that had like
that.
multiple endings too. Like you're like, oh, this scene, you think the movie's over, and then it's not.
Yeah.
If I remember it correctly.
Spoiler alert.
Nah.
It's been that long.
Spoiler culture is like the worst thing.
What's your limit on spoiler? Like what would you say is like when you
2 weeks.
2 weeks is when you don't have to say spoiler alert anymore?
You should say spoiler alert after 2 weeks, but you're totally allowed to spoil things, especially on an online
2
podcast.
weeks. Okay.
Because
that's
if
way
it's,
shorter than I was.
If it's 2 weeks and you're dying to see that movie like so badly you don't want it spoiled for you, then you got 2 weeks to go see it.
Okay.
I mean,
I would
at
go
least
longer.
give them a warning, like spoiler alert. We're gonna start talking about it, and then
Right.
go on. Like, listen, we'll
Han
give you
Solo
a
dies.
sign.
I would say at least a month.
We'll
at
give you a
least
signal. We're
month.
starting now. Then we'll give you a signal. We stopped.
Yeah.
I would say at least a month. Like I would say a month to 6 weeks is like
Really?
is like legit because like that's the amount of time that like a movie can come out in theaters and leave theaters.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's
I guess.
like
I
that's
don't
like
know.
the smallest amount of time that a movie can come into and leave a theater for
That's
me.
true. Well, like, so part of the logic behind that is one, the only thing I never want spoiled for me is Star Wars because I bought in and I absolutely love Star Wars. Always
Still have
been
to
a
see
fan.
Solo. Still have to see Solo.
I just said all that about myself. I still haven't seen Solo.
Me
I
neither.
couldn't be
Me
bothered.
neither. Yeah.
And I
Watch-
absolutely
I'm
love
just
Star
gonna
Wars.
wait till it's on
party?
HBO.
But yeah, there we go. We should do a watch party. That'd be fun.
We should do a live watch of like put it
Mystery
on,
Science
put it
Theater.
on mute. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like probably like what's that? Periscope, I think it is.
Periscope, yeah, where you can like
use
live stream events or something.
I interrupted
They
you.
could do
Sorry.
that on Instagram also. So
That's true. But I go see. I'm talking Skywalker Saga now because obviously I didn't do this for Solo. But I go see a new Star Wars film at midnight, like that
Right.
night, or at 7:00 in New York, whenever it comes out in
Right.
New York. Like the first showing, I'm there because I want to see it. Not saying everybody has to do that, or if that's even feasibly possible, because it's obviously not. But if I couldn't get the 7:00 ticket that night, I would be the 10:00 that night. Like I would go see it.
I did
as soon
that.
as
I did that for
possible.
the Batman films.
Right.
Yeah, that was
I
was
had
mine.
a roommate. Hey, Jonathan. I had a roommate. He was just like that. Anything ahead of time, he got his tickets ahead of time, and he would
Always.
watch it twice.
Wow.
I don't remember whether it would be the same night. Or he
Nice.
would watch it twice. The first time, like, you're just enjoying it as a fanboy.
Yeah.
Just watching it. And
Next
then the
time
second
you watch
time, he was like, okay, I'm going to critique this. now.
Yeah.
Watch the
Let me-
movie
Yeah.
and like really look at it.
So-
Yeah.
Have you seen? You said you like Star Wars. Have you seen the Clone Wars?
The series?
Yeah, the television series.
I've watched a little bit of the series. It's good. It's some of it's hard for me. It gets very kiddish at points. There are things I really like about it though. I like how Darth Maul exists for a very long time in the Clone Wars series, and how he's still a character. And
Spoiler alert.
yeah, spoiler alert. If you haven't watched all the Clone Wars, then there you go. But also, I'm not afraid of spoilers because I don't use any sort of social media personally.
Okay.
I'm not on Facebook, Instagram. I don't do. A couple years ago, I quit.
It's kind of odd with a podcast.
Yeah,
Social
right?
I know. And
How are you gonna promote?
This is actually going up to date, but the podcast will have because I understand from a business standpoint why social media is important.
Right.
But on a personal level, like I can't hack it anymore. Like I found myself scrolling through movies, which I love
Mindlessly.
movies. It's like, and it's like when I find myself doing that, it's like, what am I doing? Like I love movies. I love watching movies. Like that should be enough for me. Like I don't need this, and so.
So you stopped.
I stopped, and my personal Facebook page is still up, I think, but I haven't looked at it. Like I poke on there every once in a while. Actually, the last time I went on was to promote the first episode of this podcast on my personal page. I had like 700 notifications or something. I was like, I'm not checking
Can't
any
deal
of
with
those,
this.
and I don't care. Like, I hope none of them are like emergency help, please God.
Thank goodness.
And then that person's not on Facebook anymore either. But
Right, yeah, no. I
No.
just got my Facebook page up and running. Follow me at Nerd Psychology.
yeah, that'll be listed in the description as well. No, and I totally, like I said, understand from like a business standpoint the importance of social media and how great it is to reach a larger audience. But as far as like with the political climate of like fake news and just like you don't know what to believe, it's like I just on a very much a personal level, like again, no judgment to anybody who enjoys using social media.
Yeah, for sure.
On a personal level, I just couldn't hack it anymore. I was just like, I'm done with this. This isn't.
It's depressing.
It doesn't make me happy.
sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this one's in Egypt. Oh, this one's in Paris. Oh, this one's in Alaska. Like, son of a bitch, where the fuck you
There's
get?
just
Yeah.
so much going on in the world.
I'm at
that's
work-
why we have
I'm just
comics.
at work miserable.
That's why we
just
got
like,
comics.
Look at these people
Yeah.
travel all
It's
over the
true.
place. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like this pick anyway, but
Yeah, yeah. Like this person needs this from me. Like this, like yeah. And I don't know. It's funny because the further away you spend from it, the more. And again, I'm really trying not to be like. I don't like to take a condescending stance on this because you do in this life what makes you happy. If social media genuinely makes you happy, go
for
use
it.
social media, please. Like that's
Yeah,
awesome. It wasn't making me happy, but. It's like the idea of like the poke and the like and these little things start
The
to seem
poke. Wow, I haven't heard that one.
And
in
that's a little
maybe 15
vintage.
years.
people
It's
don't
true.
even poke anymore except for
God.
those fake porn profiles.
Yes.
Because I've been getting them recently.
I
Just
haven't
like
told
some
this
hot girl in a bikini, like
And you
won't
know
say
that it's
anything.
clearly
It'll
not
just
real.
poke me. I'm like,
It's clearly not real.
I don't know
but
you.
but that's how it started, right? The poke used to be like a flirty thing.
Yeah, at
it's like a
first,
pose,
at
like,
first, like a
ooh.
flirty, friendly thing, and like everyone would just poke one another.
Yeah, that
I
was
cannot
some girl-
imagine that going over
yeah.
that going over well
For
today.
a while, that was like the only thing there was to do on Facebook. I think that was even like pre-Farmville. I remember just going on like poking people.
Farmville.
wow,
Yeah,
is
right.
that a still thing? Is that
I don't think so.
still
Now, I
running?
mean, now it's like you just like it's like Clash of Clans, like it's just the updated version of
Yeah,
Farmville,
right.
basically.
I remember that though. I was like, gotta go chip my crops. Like,
Yep. Click,
that's
click,
too much
click,
maintenance
click,
for me.
click,
just
click.
like no, I'm done.
Yeah,
no.
you don't need extra responsibilities on social media.
Exactly. Gotta wake up 3 o'clock in the morning in real life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Go
go
feed
to
the
work.
cows or something. I'm like,
Right.
no, I'm good.
What are you doing for your birthday?
Yeah.
Nothing. This is the most I'm doing.
Is this your birthday party? Is this?
Happy
Pretty much,
birthday to you.
I don't celebrate my birthday, as sad as that sounds. It's just since my birthday is on the 1st of the month,
Okay.
everybody pays their rent. So I'm like, hey, let's do something. Nah, man, I'm broke.
Nice.
Bitch, and every year after year after year of that happening, I'm just like, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
Gotta
So,
like find free things
You
to do in the
just
city.
reminded me to pay my rent today. I'm not even.
Ooh, I gotta
kidding.
do that also. Thank you.
Not-
So at this point, it's just like, today is my birthday. Demetrius told me, like, oh, we're doing a podcast. Like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
getting
in.
a day off, and
There
I'm
you
going.
go.
I'm in.
So I came here. From here, I'm going to my mom's house and just say hi to my niece because my brother just had a baby a month ago.
Oh, nice.
Congratulations.
Nice,
That's
thank you.
awesome.
Hi Camila, I know you can't see this, so I know what I'm saying, but hi. Yeah, that's it. So from here, I'm going to my mom's house later, just hang out for a little bit.
Does your mom make you some like special food for your birthday? Is there like a special?
Yeah, she's like, you want me to make you some plátano? I'm like, plátano is plantains.
Oh, I do like me some plantains.
I bought one of those ones inadvertently, thinking it was a banana. It was not.
Yeah.
That's when I first discovered what a plantain was, and it did not work.
Nah,
it did not work well at all.
Just go to a Dominican spot, just like get some mango, sausage, and fried cheese. And if you're into eggs, you can get eggs. It's called tres golpes.
All right.
3 hits. So like the mango is pretty much smashed plantains.
Okay.
Some butter in it is fantastic. And then you get the egg, the fried cheese, and the sausage on it, and then it's delicious. It'll fill you up for the whole day.
All right. Sounds yummy.
You'll fall in love with it. But yeah, it's short for me to make some food. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to eat over there. I'm going to go over to the house to eat. But I'll just let you know when I leave.
Enjoy that.
That's
So you got some good food.
Sounds like a relaxing
for you.
birthday, though. Like that's what a birthday should be, relaxing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Last year
I
I
woke
went
up late and everything. So I woke up
There
like
you
at
go.
1 o'clock in the afternoon.
beautiful.
Nice.
So it was fantastic.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah, last year I went. So last year, 2 years ago, I went hiking by myself for like 5 days up in Bear Mountain State Park, just relaxing and like.
That's
just
dangerous, man. What if
walking.
you get eaten by bears?
Well, I mean, like I had a cabin. Like I was in a cabin, and like there were people around. It wasn't like by myself. It wasn't like I was in the middle of the
yeah,
wilderness.
those are serial killers.
Yeah.
Then that's when you make a comic book about me. Then, you know, I die at the hands of serial killer.
They're nerdy therapists.
Someone makes a comic book, and then my business takes off. Just after I'm gone.
Your assistant books you for like so many appointments, but you're not there to do.
He just never came back.
Yeah.
Just turn you to like a Tom Clancy novel.
Yes. Have you seen Jack Ryan yet?
No.
The series.
I've heard it's
Yeah,
good.
new one.
I've heard it's good.
Yeah, that's what I've
not
been
seen
hearing.
it
Someone
'cause
told me that
I
yesterday.
don't have money to be to
Netflixing?
subscribe to Amazon.
John Krasinski, man.
Right? I saw it at on a sign one day. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Hey Jim.
I heard-
Hey Jim from The Office.
That's
You're now
Yeah,
a spy.
I heard he proved himself as an action kind of actor in I think it was 13 Hours. I think it is.
I didn't see that one.
I heard
You're
like
absolutely right. It's about the Benghazi.
Yeah,
Oh.
like a bunch of soldiers were protecting
cool.
the civilians in the building,
Right.
and then yes, I heard that he proved himself as an action actor in that
I
movie.
can't remember who directed that film, but I remember I remember hearing some acclaim for his performance as well.
He did A Quiet Place also, right? That
A
was
Quiet
that was
Place
him.
was
I
him,
still
yeah,
have to
it
see
was
that. I'm
fun.
really excited for it.
Yeah, I need to see that as well.
I heard it was really good and really like on the edge of your seat.
Apparently, there's a story going around about when he started with The Office that he went in for an audition and they liked him a lot for it, but apparently he was a little bit rude, or they did something that kind of turned them off. I'm not sure if it was rudeness. I won't speak on that, but he did something that turned them off kind of, and so they were looking for another person to play Jim. They were looking, and finally they did callbacks. And they're like, we need to bring him back in because he was really good.
He was great.
And one of the executive producers for The Office was like sitting for lunch, and they fed the guys they brought from callbacks lunch. And so he's eating a sandwich across from this guy, and John Krasinski doesn't realize he's an executive producer for The Office. He just thinks he's some guy like from the set or something, like eating lunch. And he's like, man, this show's gonna suck. It's not gonna be as good as the UK one. I don't even know why they're making it. John Krasinski said that, and they're like, oh no. But then he did his audition, and he kind of nailed it, and he did it. But I just like the idea of like John Krasinski as like a shitty kid. Like he's like, man, I don't even know why I'm here.
I always-
Talking so much shit.
I know.
I wonder how true that is.
Yeah, and again, that's a story I've heard. Like, I don't know if any of these things are true or not, but it wouldn't surprise me either, because like I feel like him in particular, and a lot of stars are like this, but like everybody assumes that he's like as cool as Jim is on The Office, because Jim's like the coolest, like nicest guy. Like, well, kind of, he's kind of a dick to Dwight, but like, but he is like a very cool, charming person, and so like you expect that in his real life, I guess.
I will admit, I've seen a few episodes.
I knew that was coming.
I
I knew it
was
was coming. I haven't
talking
seen
about
it.
stuff that you watch, man. Like,
Come on. Either that, or we just have to like.
what are your top 3
downloading
shows on
it.
TV right now that you're
My
watching?
top shows?
Yeah, top shows.
Oh,
Watch and be things that neither of us watch. And then
Probably.
Killjoys.
The what?
Killjoys. It's on Sci-Fi.
Nope.
No, I do like sci-fi.
The Magicians.
Okay, my brother and sister-in-law love that. So you're in good company with another Ariel.
An amazing.
You're in good
show.
company
Is that
with
thing
another
your
Ariel.
brother Netflix thing?
Yeah, you guys
Yeah,
get
gonna
along.
be fantastic together.
Ariel, you gotta meet
but
this
it's
guy.
gonna be hard hanging out because then we're like, hey Ariel, we're both gonna be like, what? But see, Killjoys, The Magicians. The show just started coming back.
Sunny. It's always sunny.
Always Sunny.
Have not seen a single
my
episode in my life.
goodness.
That's a good one,
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Hey man, we're not in the comment section of this video.
Damn it. I never got to finish it, but Happy was also on Sci-Fi.
I didn't. I never watched it. It looked fun. It looked interesting. I haven't seen it yet though.
Yeah, it was hilarious. I loved it. And then, yeah, we watch a lot of stuff on Sci-Fi. I just realized.
Yeah, did you watch that miniseries? This came out not so long ago. The Ascendants, I believe it was called. It's let me explain to you the plot because you'll definitely recognize the plot. I might have the title
I
wrong.
might have seen it. It's been a while, but is it that like they're in space?
Yeah, so it's a 3-part miniseries about Earth colonizing on another planet.
Okay.
And it's
Sounds sci-fi.
right, but there's like this thing that makes it really interesting. So it's the way Earth is going to colonize this new planet is it's going to take 3 generations of people. So 1 generation to build the ship and take it off, a generation to pilot the ship in space, and a generation to start the colony when they get there.
Okay, interesting.
And the 3-part miniseries is about the 2nd generation, so the people who have never seen Earth and will never see the colony and spend their entire life on the ship. I got like goosebumps thinking about it right now because it's like
That's a
very
crazy
cool,
concept.
like really interesting because people like have no loyalty to Earth. But they're also expected to like serve Earth and colonize this new planet. But it's like, what are these people done for me?
I know the show you're talking about.
I've never seen it.
Ascendants. I highly recommend. There's a few things that people won't like about this show, and I won't get into that. But if you're just a sci-fi fan interested in that concept alone, I'd say go watch it because it's very
I think it only
satisfying.
lasted 1 season.
I think it was just a 3-part miniseries. I think it was very
I can handle
I don't want to
three-part
pull out my
miniseries.
phone. Can I pull out my phone?
Yeah. That's allowed.
I want to double check.
I can
write the same show.
I can check that out.
Fact checking.
I can check that out.
Super. As a sci-fi fan, I found it very, very cool.
I've always found it hard to recommend shows to people.
Yeah.
Like, you never know what someone's gonna like. You never know what they're not gonna like. Yeah, like how hard do you sell it? How hard do you not sell it? But this sounds cool.
It's like when it's also weird with your friends because you know when they're not gonna actually watch something, but then when it's something that both of you like, they've already seen it, so you don't have to recommend it. So like all recommendations just kind of go out the door in that case. You know?
Like I've luckily like had a couple friends who have like watched something that I've recommended and been like, oh my god, this was like really good. I still have to start Atlanta on recommendation from a friend.
Atlanta,
which I'm really excited.
Project.
Yeah, which I'm really excited for. Also,
it's like been on my wife and I's list like queue for a really long time, and we both need to watch it. I love Jarvis Gambino. I like him as a musician. I've enjoyed the acting he's done, and frankly, and Star Wars and Spider-Man, like he's fantastic in both of those projects.
Yeah,
Spider-Man, it wasn't a super girthy role he had, but he was fun and it was cool. Like it was interesting to see him in
Homecoming.
In Homecoming, yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah. And that just planted the seed for Miles Morales.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So.
Hopefully.
That's what they're saying.
So
right?
we know this Peter's going to be.
Yeah.
Eventually 2 or 3 movies down.
Yeah.
Maybe 4.
Yeah. No, his stuff's great.
Do you like this, Peter? Or are you ready for him to kick the bucket?
I like this one way better than the last 2.
Andrew
Garfield and Tobey Maguire. Yeah.
Really? I like Tobey Maguire. All right.
It started off okay.
Yeah.
Started off okay.
The 1 was 2 was really good.
Yeah.
3 was horrible.
Not enjoyable.
Really bad.
Yeah. 3 is.
And I didn't hate the Andrew Garfield ones. They weren't phenomenal. I do like the Tom Holland ones a lot better.
I actually kind of get annoyed when people rip those apart just because like my heart breaks when Stacy dies. Like it's like a really hard scene to watch.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. All right. How many years? They canceled it. They were like, we're not making these anymore.
People were talking about, it's too convoluted. There's too many storylines going at the same time. Like, have you read a comic? There's always more than one storyline going on.
Always.
So like, it was easy for me to follow.
Right.
15 different ways that the plot goes
Yeah.
at any given time.
Don't get me wrong.
How
I don't
many
think it was like
different
great.
Batmans exist at
I don't
once.
think it was like amazing. I just think that people were too hard on it. I thought it was all right.
I think it was just a really good.
It was fun.
For me.
Yeah.
I found it to be fun.
It was a good setup for the like Sinister Six movie towards the end because
which sadly never happened.
Yeah, which sadly never happened. But yeah.
Well, it's just like when I think a lot of people who have trouble understanding like the different Spider-Mans or like the way things go just don't understand the way that like the rights work for it, and it's so interesting. And I think I'm looking at this Venom poster right behind you,
nice.
This Venom movie that's a Marvel movie made by Sony is like is a weird thing, and I can see so many people being confused about like, like is Tom Holland gonna be in this one? It's like, no, he's not.
He's
Like,
not, and then
legally
people
he's
are
not
looking
allowed
forward
to show up.
But they have lied before when they said we're not gonna do this.
Yeah, they may
and
like throw him
come
in there
out-
in a small cameo or something like that.
Yeah.
But
But I feel like that it's like such a crux for confusion for people who don't really like closely follow
Definitely
it.
would be.
Speaking of people who have picked up rights for things, though, Netflix is like on fire right now.
Yeah.
Last Airbender, a new Buffy series.
Yeah, I heard about that.
The Buffy like the teaser looks sick. It looks scary.
I've not even seen it. I didn't even know there was one out.
I did not see it. It's
I think it's just called Buffy. I talked about it on the last episode too. I think that's why it's on my mind. But it looks like very creepy and like it's supposed to be like it feels very like Salem witchcrafty sort of like
cool.
dark, weird. Like it's pretty exciting. And as someone who frequents the last Buffy series, I'm very excited to kind of jump in on this at the ground
The Whedon
level.
Buffy series, you mean?
Yeah.
So I've never seen Buffy. I'll be honest, I've never seen Buffy. I have watched all of Angel.
And you talk about me.
I have watched all of Angel in my defense. I have watched Firefly, I have watched Serenity, I have watched Dollhouse. I just never got to Buffy.
Yeah.
I tried to watch it.
It's a lot, right? Buffy
It's a lot. It's like
It's like 9 seasons.
Yeah.
I tried to get into it. I tried to watch it. I just couldn't, for whatever reason, get myself into like watching high school age like drama unfold on
I
television.
think you should just.
I know.
Would have been better if you caught it when it was first.
I know. I mean, I watched Angel late and I loved it. It was I really enjoyed it, but I don't think I'll ever get on the Buffy train.
Interesting. But like me, you could start anew with this new series as well.
Yeah,
That's true.
I'm
Also,
very excited about it. I think it's what I like about it is because I from what I've seen of Whedon's Buffy, it's different. It's like a different thing. So like it's not. I'm not gonna be. I don't feel like it's like in the realm of like we got to compare them and contrast them and like which one's better, which one's worse. Like it just feels like a different entity sort of. So I'm excited about that as opposed to like, oh, it's some kind of continuation. Oh, it's
Yeah,
like,
I was just wondering, would it be like a complete reboot?
I think it's a
Probably.
complete reboot, but from what just aesthetically, what people have gathered is that it's a very different universe.
Okay. We'll see how the vampires look in this one.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Can I snag a little bit of that captain over there?
No problem. Here you go.
While
you
we're
go.
going here, again, we've said this is your birthday party, so
There you
it's,
go.
Yes.
No,
But yeah, they're bringing back a lot of shows.
yeah.
A
I mean,
lot of
DuckTales.
shows. DuckTales.
Have you been watching DuckTales?
I watched.
It's so much fun.
I watched.
I do not
like
even know about the
10
DuckTales.
seconds
Oh.
of it. I was like, nope. And I went on to the next channel.
Oh my god! I put it on one day. Like I heard about it. I got super excited. It's Danny Pudi voices one of the DuckTales. I think he voices Louie, and Ben Schwartz voices another one, and one of the guys from SNL, and I think David Tennant is Scrooge McDuck.
Oh wow!
Like it's a phenomenal voice cast. It's hilarious. It brings me right back to my childhood.
What is this on? What is?
It's on Disney.
Disney Channel.
Disney.
Disney.
It's on Disney,
Yeah.
and they did their first season already. I think I'm in the middle of the season finale right now. It's hilariously adorable. It just puts me in a happy place every single time.
We'll see. I'll give it another try, but I watched 10 seconds of it. I was like, nope, it's not what I'm used to. And I went to the next channel.
Wow,
DuckTales.
how old and conservative of you to be like, it's new and it's young and I don't like it.
Young and hip, none of that.
Well, I get that though, because like every once in a while, it's like, because you think of like Teen Titans Go is what you think of, right? Like, and instantly you think of like Cartoon Network's
Doesn't
got
work.
Teen Titans, and this is what they made.
Right.
Exactly.
No, but this is good. It's solid. It's true to the old DuckTales.
Although I do follow some of the voice actors from Teen Titans, and they
Go?
said Teen Titans. Well, they use all the same voices anyway.
Do that?
Yeah, it's all the same voices.
I know nothing about Teen Titans Go, so it's
And
I haven't seen it.
for the same reason you.
and they said there's a possibility. One of them said there's a possibility that Netflix might pick up the original series.
Wait, what? Like the original.
But this is
Original Teen Titans, where where Deathstroke was called Slade.
right,
Yeah.
right.
It's a
Fantastic
possibility.
show.
That would be phenomenal.
No, it's. Yeah, but that's been rumored for a long time. Like, it's always been a rumor. Like, it's like, oh, it could be coming back by this person and that person. And I do believe there are some conversations happening about it, but I just don't know how soon we're
But
going to see it.
the same thing happened with Young Justice.
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
rumors, and then it
But
came
that was
out.
a
happened.
Kickstarter
Yeah.
thing, wasn't it?
No,
I
it
don't
was just a
think
rumor.
so.
It was the voice.
I don't think it was a
for,
Kickstarter.
I think Cyborg.
I
I
don't know
remember
why I thought it was-
correctly. I'm not 100%
remember
sure.
who.
But the voice of Cyborg was like, if everybody watches a Young Justice and puts the likes on it
Yeah.
for the review, a lot of people keep watching and keep on putting in likes. There's a chance they'll pick it up,
And it happened.
and then it happened.
Well, they just redid Star Wars: The Clone Wars for a seventh season.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, they picked it up for another season.
Yeah.
Good, because
I'm super
I was
excited.
pissed off.
Yeah, everyone was.
When it was canceled, because the voice actors, again, I follow the voice actors, because like they were pissed off too, because like we were in the middle of the season.
Wait, what's
Yeah.
Ashley? What's
I forgot who it
who
was.
does Ahsoka? I think it's Ashley something. Ashley Eckhart, maybe.
Maybe, but yeah, like we were in the middle of the seasons doing dialogue. We were recording and everything, and then we get canceled.
Sometimes that's how it goes.
Great,
I mean,
great show.
like the logic behind shows getting canceled is so weird and so trend based at times because like so many shows like need to get their legs, like, and really successful shows have needed to get their legs before.
Yeah.
Like Parks and Recreation.
Yes.
Which it is a fantastic show. First season isn't very good, and like, you see shows who have gotten canceled that are really good, and I would say Parks and Recreation season 1 is worse than a lot of those shows.
It is.
So it's a miracle that it didn't get
I'm
canceled.
so glad it
And
didn't.
season 2, it really does pick up,
It
and it becomes kind of the
becomes
fantastic
its own
show.
entity. Like everyone
Yeah.
has its own character. Have you seen that one, Parks and Rec, or no?
No, that's another one.
Oh,
that
my goodness.
I'm not into the mockumentary kind of shows.
I hear.
Okay.
I hear that.
That's why I never saw Community.
Really? No
I
community?
never saw that one. Never saw
Community
that one.
wasn't too mockumentary.
Parks and Rec, I never saw.
No, but
Office, I saw
it's
episodes
the same
here
kind of
and
funny,
there.
I think.
I'm mostly into the sci-fi kind
Do
of shows.
you watch Rick and Morty then?
Oh yes.
Dude, you should watch Community, dude, because Dan Harmon is fantastic.
Brilliant.
And his
Yes.
work, you see the similarities in Community. Seriously.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Wow,
it's
I'm
a
gonna
similar
have to check it out
style of
then.
writing. It's very quick-witted.
Smart dialogue.
Yeah, really smart
Because
dialogue.
I started off the show late on Rick and Morty. The very first episode I saw was the Pickle Rick episode.
Wow, that is
well,
late.
Season
Yeah,
3.
that is late.
I started super late, and then I told my friends like, "Nah, man, you crazy. You gotta start from the beginning. If you're gonna start Rick and Morty, you gotta start from the beginning. You can't start from Pickle
Yeah,
Rick."
I've met so many people who associate, because I assume it's because it's an Adult Swim show, as like a Family Guy thing where they can jump around with
Right.
it, and you totally cannot. When I hear someone jumping around with it, like it makes me
No.
angry. It's like
You can't-
start from
you
the
gotta-
beginning. It's a whole
yeah.
story. Like it's a
Yeah, and
We-
they
we
were
just
right,
watched this-
like,
yeah,
The Screaming Sun clip the other day when they were going to the different planets and then they're like trying to find a new planet to live on. My roommate brought it up and it was just absolutely phenomenal. And they get
Yeah.
on the planet. It's just like totally like Earth, except the sun rises up and just screaming at the top of his
Yeah.
lungs. They're like,
That's
you guys
such
wanna
a
stay?
funny scene.
You guys want to stay here? Look around. No. All right, back in the ship.
I love it
Yeah.
when they're on the small planet and they're like walking around the Earth and like the weather changes and they
Yeah.
put on a jacket and take
Yeah,
it
take
off
it
a second later.
Yeah, that's luckily, thank God, Hulu has Rick and Morty.
Yeah, all of Rick and Morty.
Yep.
And then I started from the beginning, and I fell in love with the show.
It's brilliant.
It's amazing.
No, it's really clever writing. I love the post-credit scenes on it, and like all the episodes.
Yes.
It's like very satisfying.
Yo, I didn't even know that. As soon as the credits came up, I would just go on
go
to
right
the
to
next
the next one.
episode.
No,
Oh, you
that's
gotta
okay.
wait.
And I think that actually the first time I watched them, I did a similar thing. But now when you do rewatch episodes, definitely go and check the
Yeah, that's what I
post-credit
did.
scenes.
always-
I went
it's always
back.
just
wrapped
I
up in
started
that small
watching them again
story.
because my friends were like, "Oh, did you see post credits?" And I'm like, "There's post credit
That's-
stuff."
yeah.
What? He was like, "Yeah." I was like,
It's like
gotta
a Marvel
watch it
movie.
again.
God, you gotta wait.
I didn't even know, so I went back and then I watched all the. I watched all of them.
You see the Pickle Rick post-credit one?
What was it again?
With Jaguar and he like swoops in. And
Oh yeah, he saves
the-
them from the piano.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, who was that?
But I think one of my favorite ones is
No one.
the episode where like the Summer gets like blown up and flipped inside out, and and Beth accidentally like
lets the little people out,
and then the post-credit scene is them like hanging out, like not having to work anymore, and like a bird swoops in and takes one of them or something.
Yep,
it's really
I remember
funny.
that. Oh, it's a great show.
Mm-hmm.
It's just brilliantly done.
It is, but at the same time, I understand why people are annoyed with like the fan culture around it, because it can be kind of an annoying like fan base.
Yeah, it's also like a very specific type of humor too. It's definitely not for everyone.
Right, and and I get that, and it's like extremely crude and like, you know,
gory.
It can be.
It
Yes.
can be gory.
It can be definitely be
disturbing.
gory.
But like the humor can be very, very dark. They talk a lot about, you know, depression and suicide, and I totally understand why people would shy away from that, you know. And so it's like that's why I understand the fandom being kind of annoying. Where it's like, you have to watch Rick and Morty, it's the best. Where it's like someone could potentially just be like, I'm not comfortable watching this.
It's a very dark series. Yeah.
Like I was watching a little video clip of I think it was IGN. Yeah, IGN. Hi IGN. Just in case you're watching.
Yeah, they're watching my podcast.
IGN
is on. That's why I'm here right now doing the Anyone podcast, because IGN watches.
Hi, Jessica Chobot. Yeah, the little video, like somebody may have discovered like Rick's deepest, darkest secret.
Ah, interesting.
And they were like, the writers were like, oh, we were thinking about putting it on the show, but you know, they put a few hints in the show, but they never really. They said we're never gonna announce what it is.
And so it'll be one of those fan mystery things that someone will discover one day, and they'll be like, "Oh, there it is."
And then one of the writers was just like, "I went onto a Reddit
and found it.
Someone figured it out." He never said who it was, and you know those Reddit forums are like
they get
a billion pages long.
Everybody's like, "I was right."
Yeah. So it was like narrowed down to like he knows he's in a cartoon, or one that. He's really Morty from the future.
Evil Morty?
Back.
Yeah.
Rick is Evil Morty.
Something like that. And it was they narrowed it down to like 4 theories. Those were 2 of them. I forgot what the other 2 were.
That'd be awesome. That scene from Pickle Rick with the therapist when they're all sitting in the therapist's office. That's my favorite. It's my favorite scene of a therapist on television ever, and B probably in the entire series.
Like, oh, when your grandfather's this pickle.
Yeah. That whole episode.
What do you think is in the syringe?
Amazing. And like honestly, from like an action standpoint, it's like that's like a really like action-packed episode.
Yes.
Like,
episodes ever,
yeah. And it's
when he's stimulating the cockroach brain.
Yeah. And like I love it when like he finally like evolves and he gets the arms and legs and it's like this whole he starts killing rats.
Yeah,
it's like
oh my god, absolutely phenomenal.
You know what I found amazing was like when he bites his own lip to have like the pickle juice come out.
Oh yes, like, that was great.
How the fuck can anybody do that to themselves on purpose?
Yeah.
They're like I've done it by accident and it hurts like hell.
Oh my god, dude! I bit off
he's Pickle
a
Rick.
piece of my lip the other
because
day.
he can.
See it.
Oh man,
that's a nice
shot.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, I like.
That's intense.
Bit off a chunk.
You must have been really hungry.
I was really hungry, I guess, and it was so painful. And I was at work, and I like started tearing up and crying.
It looks like it. Wow.
It still kind of hurts a little bit. I'm getting better. It's like probably 2
still
weeks.
Healing,
It's still healing. Yeah. There's really nothing I can do about it. Like I keep it clean, you know.
Right.
By the end of the week, you'll be fine. But yeah, it's
do you have to like wash with alcohol or anything? Like.
I
use hurt even more. Oh,
I know, that's why I was asking.
No, that it does hurt. I use mouthwash though, and so
that must burn.
It burns. It does burn a little bit. It's not as bad as you might think, but also I know I need to do it because it keeps it clean. So
yeah, otherwise it would be.
Yeah, you don't want to get some shit infected right there.
No, that
front and
would
center like
not
that.
be good at all.
Get this big pussy. Like bump on your lip, and you just try to talk to a girl like, "What's up?" Girl?
Yeah, how's it going? Yeah, luckily I'm married, so I can bite my lips off.
Oh, you're
whenever
married?
I know it's.
So at least she'll do it, kind of, maybe.
Exactly.
How long have you been married?
I've been married since May. I don't know if I've ever said this on the podcast, but so last May, over the course of a month, I turned 22. I graduated college and I got married.
Congratulations!
Thank you very much.
No, I was married. So.
Yeah, so it's like you're 35, but like the marriage gives me like 10 years, kind of, like because it's like that's something old people do. So
okay, so I'm
that's
probably like 45, 50. I was married.
Yeah. There you go.
He's been there.
Hi, Madeline.
Nice.
Shout out. That was her name.
Did she work for IGN?
No.
But if she did.
Oh, then she definitely wouldn't give me a job. She's like, fuck you.
And now we know.
Whatever. No, yeah.
Still single.
Yeah.
Still single.
It's fun. Life's weird like that.
And
Happens.
just
You gotta live life, enjoy it.
Yeah.
the best advice I can give you is, because I've learned that happy wife, happy life
That's my best friend's dad's saying.
is absolute bullshit.
My best friend's
She'll be
dad's
happy,
saying.
but you'll be going through depression.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just trying to
could.
find a middle ground
Nice
best
right.
you can.
Yeah. No, it's true. And
Give
from my
yourself-
very short time being married, but having been with Caroline for a very long time, I found that the stuff that doesn't seem important is really important. Like sitting down together at the end of the day and having a glass of wine and watching TV, something we probably do every night.
Yes.
But it's like very, very important
it
to our
brings you guys
relationship.
together.
So important.
And on nights
Yeah,
we
it's not
don't
a
do that, it
beautiful
feels
one,
weird.
yeah.
It feels
Yeah.
weird, and it's okay. Like there should be nights where we don't have to do that every night. It's not like a thing. But I'm glad it feels weird when we don't do that because it's like it's a very important part of our relationship. And we're watching some stupid show and we're reflecting on our day and we're having a glass of wine. And even though it doesn't seem very important, having a few drinks watching
It
TV,
is.
it's very important.
That's what connects you guys together more,
Right.
like the time when you're not doing anything else and you're just sitting there with the person that you care about.
Right.
Yeah.
And just like,
I would say doing nothing when someone is doing something.
yes.
Right. Exactly. Even though it seems like it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're married out there, hang out with your wife. Or go watch some TV.
Yes.
It's fun. Watching TV is awesome. Everybody loves it.
It's true.
It's like
That's
so
true.
cool. Like in like now with streaming services, like as much as like we like to bitch about rights and like oh so and so's picking it up and they're not gonna make it right. It's like I can watch anything
Who
ever.
cares?
Like I can watch all of it right now and it's amazing.
But
Like,
you were asking Ariel before what his 3 favorite shows are. What about you? What are you?
my top shows that we're watching right now. Okay, let me. So my wife has recently got me into Desperate Housewives.
Yes.
And Desperate Housewives. No, listen, Ariel. I'm
Oh
not
my
kidding.
God, that
I'm not
look.
messing with you. It's
It's
fantastic.
hilarious.
It's fantastic. So there's a few things. One is it came out around the time of shows like Real Housewives of Atlanta and shows like that, like these like really garbage reality TV shows. But it's not. That's not what it is. It's like a very well written, concocted story that's totally self-aware and like knows exactly what it's doing. It's like these suburban women involved in these like
ridiculous things.
yeah, these like deep lies, and like every episode, like there's characters dying, and it goes over the top, but it's very reflective of itself in that. Like it's very
knows
aware.
it's a joke.
I know, because my ex used to watch
Oh,
all
no.
those reality
Okay.
TV, The Housewives.
I didn't know I was taking a nerve here.
And then Love and Hip Hop. She watched E,
I hate that.
the E channel, and
Not for me.
the
Life.
ID
Oh,
channel. was it?
okay.
I don't know the name of the channel.
I
Maybe
don't,
it's
I
ID.
don't remember what it is either, but yeah, I know what you're talking
Where
about.
But
it's pretty
channels
much,
like that, yeah.
Where it's pretty much like, oh, she snapped or he snapped. It's
Right.
a murder mystery, pretty much channel. where
Yeah,
it's
I think it's ID.
Yeah.
those were her 2 favorite channels.
Really. So you,
And-
you've seen some Desperate Housewives.
A
in
little bit.
passing
Oh
at
yeah,
least.
Desperate Housewives,
The real ones.
Kardashians, spin-offs
Yeah.
of the Kardashians.
I can't watch that.
Yeah, I can't watch that at all. But Desperate Housewives is pretty fantastic, and my wife and I are nearing the final season, and it's kind of getting better and better. And I don't know, because at one point it goes 5 years later.
Yeah,
they do a
that was
Parks and
fun.
Rec.
I like that
And,
jump, that time jump.
And yeah, no, that's good. So Desperate Housewives is really, really high up there. I'm rewatching Yu Yu Hakusho. Which,
Okay.
I don't know if you guys.
Damn, I haven't watched that in forever.
All of it's on Hulu. Have fun.
It's on Hulu. Okay,
Yeah, and it's very enjoyable because I haven't watched it since I was a kid either, and it's a really, really strong anime and
Right.
enjoyable. And I'm actually not a huge anime person. There's a few that I gravitate towards. But Yu Yu Hakusho has always been one I love, so it's really fun to be rewatching that. So I'd say that's probably number 2. Number 3. Oh, Maniac on Netflix. I'm watching that right now, and it's fantastic.
Nice.
Maniac.
Jonah Hill, Emma Stone, their first collaboration since Superbad.
Yes,
Amazing.
yes.
I'm not done with it yet, but obviously I have a job and a wife and responsibilities in my life, so I can't do this. I would go to a movie theater and watch all 10 episodes, which I think it amounts to like 6 hours total.
Right.
Or maybe the pilot's an hour, so maybe like more like 8 hours total. I would go sit down in a movie theater and watch all of this back to back.
Nice.
Because it's like that gripping and compelling and like super well written. It's a sci-fi show, and I would argue to say it's the best thing Netflix has ever put out as far as a Netflix production.
All right.
Wow,
Awesome.
really?
Yeah.
I'll definitely have to pick
Yeah.
it up. Yeah.
So if that's not the hard sell, then I don't know what is. It's
Nice.
it's very, very good. It's a show that I'm trying to think. Here's like a very, very base synopsis for you. and I think this is fair to anybody who's interested in the show, and it really doesn't give anything away, is a drug addict and a paranoid schizophrenic.
Ooh, mental health.
Both, yeah, it's very mental health centric, and both enroll in a drug testing program with this Big Brother-like agency to test 3 drugs that is supposedly the cure to
Those ills.
depression. So supposedly will make you eternally happy.
Where can I find this pill?
Netflix.
I'll just take my prescription pen. I cannot
It's called
prescribe
the Netflix
medications.
pill. That's the irony. It's like you just go on Netflix and watch all of it, and then you're happy for the rest of your life.
Nice.
Oh man, I need that pill.
I like it. It's called $14.99 a month.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah,
Nice.
it'll get you. No, I highly recommend watching
I'll
Maniac,
have
and
to
it
give
goes
it a
like
shot.
that's like so base level because it goes so deep into like these things. But if you know that going in, I think you'll.
I'm
absolutely
definitely
enjoy
gonna give
it.
that a shot. Yeah.
Yeah,
My,
fantastic.
my top 3 right now. So I just it's not actively watching it. I already finished it. But The Good Wife and The Good Fight, I absolutely love those shows.
Interesting. Good
they're-
Wife is with what's her name? I won't test you.
Nope, not Julia. Julie.
Isn't what from Jag, isn't it?
No, she was in
Oh, no,
ER.
from ER,
Nurse,
yeah.
Nurse Hathaway from ER. What's her name? Oh my God.
She's gorgeous.
She's
very pretty.
a phenomenal
Very
actress.
attractive.
She's a phenomenal actress in that
Julianne
entire
Moore?
series.
Is it?
Juliana Margulies. That's
Margulies,
it.
there we go.
Juliana Margulies.
Close.
Yes, she's a
Yeah, you're
phenomenal
close.
Close.
I almost believed you. I was like,
And
yeah, Julianne
that's the
Moore.
one that I always go to in my head also, because I think I compare it to Hannibal Lecter, whatever.
Oh, Hannibal,
Anyways, The Good Wife and The Good Fight are top of the list for me. Like phenomenal television, highly recommended. I'm finishing up The Americans season 6.
I have one friend who watches The Americans and absolutely loves it.
It's great.
I started where did I leave off? Where I left off on the show was the daughter just figured out that her parents were spies.
Oh,
Spoiler alert.
They're communists.
It's
Like,
tell
that's
that-
where I
it
left
gets
off.
better. It just gets better
That's where I
from
left
there.
off.
It just gets better from there.
And I just realized, damn it, Amy something. She's a Hispanic actress. She was in it the last season. She was killed off. She was like in a Colombian
Spoiler
spy.
Yeah.
alert! Last
Yeah.
season.
I'm sorry.
I don't know if this is that 6-week timeline.
I'm sorry for at this. Like I always have
No,
to
it's
like
been over. It's been off already.
promote, even though I don't know this woman. She is Dominican, and she's an amazing actress. So I have to put her out there. I forgot her. I want to look.
Amy
at my phone.
something.
Amy.
Yes.
I'm gonna look it up right now. I'm sorry. I just have to.
Yeah.
So
She's-
I'm
Well,
finishing
maybe
that
she'll
First
up
see
of
this
all-
podcast and maybe she'll be like, "Hey, I want to
Amy,
see
if
that
you're
birthday
listening,
boy out."
She's gorgeous. I mean,
Ooh.
oh my god. If she asked me today, "Do you want to get married?" I would be like, absolutely. There's no question about it.
And then you can afford that $14.99 a month.
Here we go.
Yeah. So you got happiness
Your
and a
Netflix
wife.
pill.
Amy
so that's-
Guerrero Rock. Okay, she just got married.
Ah,
Amy Guerrero
I
Rock.
think your dreams are dashed.
Yes, unfortunately, but you know.
So The Good Wife and The
That's
Good
how it
Fight,
is.
The Americans, and then I'm about to start BoJack Horseman season 5.
Oh,
I
love
heard it's
BoJack.
so good.
I'm
Yeah,
about to
it's
start
good.
BoJack
Yeah,
Horseman season
I'm
5.
caught up before
I'm very
season 5
excited
as well.
very excited for that. So
Need to
that's
sit
what's on
down and
my,
watch
that's
that.
what's on my list right now.
BoJack's definitely on my list too. I
Yeah.
love BoJack. Great.
It's another.
It
Great
was probably
depiction.
my. That's funny because I think that's why I said Maniac's my favorite Netflix production because I think before it was actually BoJack Horseman was probably my favorite Netflix original.
Nice.
Because it's a fantastic show.
Phenomenal,
It's really
yeah.
well written.
It's another great depiction of like alcoholism and depression
Totally.
and mental health
Yeah.
and
Again,
like,
a very if anybody's looking to get into BoJack, like Rick and Morty, a very heavy show.
Yes,
so
it definitely-
be
it can
weary,
get dark.
Make sure it's
it
your
can
type
get
of
it can get
comedy.
pretty dark and you got to be in like a good headspace for it. and
Yeah.
be ready to like. It makes you think.
Totally.
It makes you think.
That's why I have not seen season 2 of 13 Reasons.
I haven't seen season 1.
Season-
I haven't seen season
I
1.
saw season 1 because everybody was like, "Oh, 13 Reasons, 13
Well,
Reasons."
it was a book back in the day, apparently, right?
Yeah,
That
I believe
was
so.
it, too?
I believe
And
so.
then
Yeah,
I
me too.
saw the first episode. I was like, I was not interested until they started playing. Okay, for spoiler alert, a person dies and they leave behind tapes before they've killed themselves.
Yeah, that's the sign. I think this is the synopsis of the show.
Well,
Yeah,
you don't know
basically.
now you know.
Yeah.
basically.
But yeah, so it wasn't until they started playing the first tape. That's when I got hooked.
Yeah.
when they started playing the tapes. Before that, I was like, whatever, girl died. Yeah, everybody kills themselves every day.
Yeah.
Right.
But knowing her story, that's what just sinks you in every episode. It's just, and I will not lie, I'm not gonna hold it back, but there were a few episodes where it was just
Cried.
cried. I was like, oh my god.
A show that makes you cry is like a show that really hits hard. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has done that for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I never got into
recent
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
That's-
but it's recommended constantly to me.
it's very
And
fun.
it's to the point now where people are like, you don't watch that show? Like, why don't you watch that show?
Great. Yeah, I just posted something about that. Like the scene that like just gave me like goosebumps everywhere. And I quote this line also, like with patients all the time, like the steps you take don't have to be big, they just have to take you in the right direction.
Right.
And it's like it's really like important metaphor for like change and like making those small changes in your life that lead to something bigger. It's great. That and Friday Night Lights.
Overnight.
Friday Night Lights, I was crying by episode 3.
Oh yeah, Friday Night Lights.
That show made me
it's
tear up.
wanted to watch the show, never got to.
It's good.
Great.
Season 1 is phenomenal.
Season
I
2, you
think-
got to get through. You just got to get through
Yeah.
season. You just got to get through season 2.
It's really rough.
It's hard. After that, it picks right back up and gets right back to where it should be.
Yeah.
So
I would agree with that analysis as well. Season one though is by far the prime of the show. I think like the
tearjerker.
and that's the season one is the I don't know if you've seen the movie or the book, but season 1 is essentially the movie and the book, and then from what I understand, the show kind of takes it beyond that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is a good explanation as to why season 2 sucks, kind of because it's trying to find its own legs.
Well, no, so that wasn't the problem. The problem was season 2 was the season of the writer's strike.
Oh, no
so
kidding.
they so
Exactly
all of a
why
sudden
Heroes season 2 suffers.
Heroes season
Heroes
2,
season
Friday
2
Night
is bad too, yeah.
Friday Night Lights season 2 was the writer's strike, I believe. Desperate Housewives season, I want to say like 4 or 5 was the writer's strike. There were a lot of shows that just really suffered because of that strike. I mean, it seems like it did what it needed to do. Like at least now we look at the quality of television that we have these days, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just phenomenal.
Depending on what you watch, it's either really low or it's really high.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I just think there's something out there for everybody, though. You know, like whatever you're personally interested in, you can find it pretty quickly. It's like, and honestly, like to like a specific thing, because I feel like I can punch it in Netflix like 3 different genres that I enjoy, and I'll
it'll
find
spit something out
yeah,
for you.
Yeah, spit a bunch of stuff that's like all 3 of those simultaneously.
Yeah.
And it's like there's constantly people making things, which is scary too, because it's like when you yourself are creating something, it's kind of like, is it good enough? Do I belong with these people?
You just got to go for it.
Yeah.
Like,
You just gotta go for it, put it out
I have
there.
my own idea for a book, a comic book, and it's just rough draft in my head, but like I know where I want
This
to
is
go.
trademarked, by the way. Just wanna-
Yes.
Before you say it on the podcast.
What he said.
Yeah.
It's just pretty much in my head. It's just an idea of like interdimensional travel, but like you bump into yourself, and you see the differences in the decisions that you've made.
I like this.
That is cool.
I could serve as your psychological consultant.
That'd be
Yes.
sick. It reminds me kind of a Rick and Morty episode almost too, like that, because I could see that happening in an episode of Rick and Morty, or Rick bumps into himself, which he has, I guess, but on sort of a more personal level.
That sounds
Like,
cool.
Like many years ago, I knew a guy. He hustled. He was a street dealer, and he offered me a job. I was like, no, thank you very much. That's just not the type of life I'm trying to go through. But then fuck it. I've also thought, what would have happened to me in my life if I would have said yes? So it's kind of like it's kind of along those lines. Just every decision I've thought back on that could have changed my life dramatically. How would it have gone?
That would be a really cool anthology series if you did that on like TV. Like each season is a different decision point. Like you get introduced to like you and your current life, and like each season is a different decision point, and it tells the story of what it would have looked like with that decision point, so to speak.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
No, that's
I
a
like
very,
it.
very good idea. You should write that.
I like it, man.
So also like it's also like a standpoint for like a spin-off. Like, oh, maybe this character, people like this version of the character, continue that story,
Right.
and so on and so
I
forth.
like that. That's really cool.
It's cool.
I say pursue it.
Yeah, definitely. Also, like a web series or something like that would be fantastic for that, because you could do very, very short episodes and like alternating between sort of the timelines or the different universes of the person. You know what I mean? Like, it's amazing what you can do with the web, because
Get a Kickstarter going.
Get
Get a Kickstarter going.
There you go. Everybody watches this. You have to contribute to the
Yeah.
Kickstarter, or you're booted from the channel.
Yeah,
No,
it could
wait,
be
I
called
don't know what
Alter Ego.
Gotta make sure nothing's called at first.
Yeah,
but-
trademarked.
Yeah, TM. All right. Well, this episode is already running super long. I'm so glad, but we might have to release it in 2 parts. But listen, for 3 dudes who actually just met today, this has been a really awesome conversation
Yeah,
and discussion
sounds good.
and a good time. And we'll have you both on again at some point.
Oh,
I'm
thanks.
sure.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it was fun being here. It was great. It was like totally impromptu.
Absolutely. Yeah, no. So the context of this episode is I needed to pre-record an episode. Basically, essentially, both these guys just walked into the shop and we came down and recorded. So
I was just
Okay.
picking up my local.
he had
comic.
he had Captain Morgan and he brought the conversation and yeah. So Yoni's stuff is going to be in the description. Please.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, please make sure you check out his stuff.
Yeah, I'll be releasing videos every now and then.
There you go. Exactly. Release videos, and we'll definitely have him back on the show for sure, as well as Ariel. Happy birthday, man.
Yeah,
Thank you so
thanks.
much for coming on. Also want to thank Anyone Comics for sponsoring / producing / helping us host this episode.
Yes.
You know, make sure Sundays it's you can bring your kids in, and there's drawing lessons, which is super cool and really successful here, and great way to get rid of your kids, and also they learn a lot about comics and sort of get to participate in this community, which is really special. And then also at the end of every month, last Tuesday of every month is a drink and draw for the adults. So come by. It's I think it's like a $10-$15 cover charge.
There's a
free
magic
beer.
A magic game every
Pretty much.
Friday night.
Magic every
Oh,
Friday.
Magic,
That's
yeah,
right.
that's
Yeah,
right.
that's good.
Yeah, so Magic's here every Friday. Lots of events. And if you're curious about any of these things, need more information, just stop by the shop. And again, thank you guys for coming on. And that's episode 3.